Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Alpha Pi Omega and Greater Germanic Reich. So in the last episode we have delved a bit into our current situation with the Navy, and we figured out that we have a bunch of different types of ships where in the destroyers are more serving now as torpedo boats and not really as submarine hunters, while most of the corvettes and the frigates are serving exactly as submarine hunters, because you can see they have a decent amount of depth charges and even some decent sub-detection. So I decided, again, that was the ending of last episode, that we're going to continue with that, and our Zerstörers are going to serve as escort class ships with torpedoes, basically. So let's look at our research. We are still waiting for the new improved asymmetric radar, and once we get that one, we are going to start producing the new Zerstörers. We also decided to start building the improved frigates, or research improved frigates and then build them, which are going to start phasing out some of these ships. But I really wanted to check them a bit more now to make sure we are good. So we got one early cruiser of the K class, we finished one of the P class cruisers, then we have 3 Leipzig class corvettes, which are an improved corvettes. Then we've built a bunch of 1955 Zerstörers. I keep calling these 1950. Oh, actually, we've built quite a lot of those. Then we have one F-class escort ship, which is basically an aged frigate. And then we have a bunch of Rostock class frigates. Okay, so this one is an extremely old one, though it is very capable of sub-hunting. Not all that great, but still capable. Organization, not very much HP. Might be... It might actually be good to retire this one, so that we have a bit more unified fleet. Do we have any others which we got the Leipzig class corvettes, which are 3. Okay, so yeah, I think that one together maybe with the K class cruiser. I don't know how good that one is compared to the other ones. Actually, it's pretty damn good. It even has some... It's way better than the P-class cruiser that we're building, actually, which is faster with more range. But wow, it's the Cone class. Is it a cruiser? Yeah, early cruiser. How come you're better? That is super weird. You should be... Well, you're faster, but you have more anti-air. But yeah, okay, so this one, the Cone, is useful. Okay, so the only one that I'm actually considering retiring is the F-class frigate, which is a really old one. Or we could just, put it in a dock somewhere as a patrol ship. So we need to check if we can upgrade some of these ships. No, actually, we'll need to review them once we get the improved asymmetric radar. Either way, because, we got new depth charges, new asymmetric radar, and stuff like that. So things can happen. This goes hands in hand with our army reform, where we are training new units, which is amazing. 3 infantry divisions. One of them is going to be assigned to the 3rd Infantry Army, 2 to the 1st Infantry Army, and then we'll need to train 2 more for the 2nd Infantry Army, which will finalize these 3 armies to full numbers and full strength. We've also modified the infantry armies by giving them extra anti-tank and anti-air, towed anti-air and towed anti-tank, which put us into a bit of a deficit here, but it's not really that bad. The improved anti-tank, we're missing 527, and the total anti-air, we're missing 553. That shouldn't be all that hard. Yeah, 68 days until we get the anti-tank equipment, or it's handheld actually, to make sure that we're on the same side. And the total anti-air 175 days, but that's gonna dramatically improve as we're gonna go, because the efficiency there was extremely low and we assigned new factories, so we can expect it to go up pretty quickly to at least 4 to 5 per day. Cool, so that's good. We've also won the Italo-German Great Game by scoring a 10. They got a 9, and I don't think they'll be able to do anything at this point that wouldn't put them into a loss. So we won 3-2, which is amazing. I wonder what the price is going to be, whether or not we're gonna get Hungary or Romania or both into the sulfur iron, or whether it's gonna improve the stability of our regime. We'll see. The rest of the conflicts, and by that I mean just one, basically the anti-Houthi cabal, is not really giving us any options now. In the state of the Reich, we are reforming, but the regime stability is not very high, and wow, we're gonna get additional hit of 10 once this one goes away. The vast political promises, which would put us on 33. Jesus, not very good. We're one step away from starting to get into deep trouble. So, only Germany's megacorporations, too influential to control, are above national socialist business regulations. In the early days of our regime, when it was necessary to combat capitalist greed, we instituted hardline controls on what small and medium-sized businesses could do. In particular, they were taxed heavily to pay for the war effort and prevent the formation of monopolies. Wait, small and medium-sized were taxed to prevent monopolies. Shouldn't you go after the big ones? Naturally, we had to have exemptions for the bigger corporations due to their importance in the war economy. Okay, so there you go. Erhard disagrees with this interpretation of history. He instead claims that Hitler couldn't have managed a Bund Deutscher Medal biscuit sale. And should have stuck to speeches. He wishes to scrap legislation imposing harsh terms on entrepreneurial efforts along with high taxes on businesses. He insists that this is the norm for the rest of the world, even fellow fascist powers, and that we cannot hope to be competitive without such modernizing reforms. Okay, so GDP growth increased by almost 1%, poverty rate begins to rapidly improve, 12-hour day, no actually we replaced the 14-hour day with 12-hour day, so these changes are not exactly the thing we wanted. So we can look at our policies. So we had a 14-hour workday, which lowered stability. We no longer get the mouse, so stability has increased. Production efficiency gain has increased by 10, yes, I remember that. Factory output, however, lowered. Dockyard output lowered, both by about 2.5%. Needed consumer goods increased by 1%. And consumer good production dropped by 1%. Okay, but I mean, 12-hour workday is not bad. It's way better than the 8-hour workday. And we really cannot continue with this. So we need to continue here and hope that we can get... One of these actually gave us stability, didn't it? Vacant GDP. No, none of these. Well, this increases GDP and stuff, and we get them into the Einheitspact. So hopefully that's gonna increase the stability, but I'm gonna have to go for the Schmidt proposal. Neighbors at home, beyond the Atlantic. And this lowers and increases, lowers and... Yeah, we can't really go this way at this point either. We have to take some steps to stabilize the regime, because this is not looking all that good. Okay, so let's start with the Northern Foothold. And decisions available, invest in economy, give Hungary arms. Oh, we don't need that. We don't need that, we've already won. So, let us continue. Hopefully that's gonna give us regime stability or something, because without that, that's really not good. Okay, and the dockyards that we gained, it is just one. For the 1st of May, we're going to be done with 16 days. No, we won't. Okay, we'll have to build another one. Let's build one more Search Terror 1955 and then remake the dockyards into our own model. I have to look at the subs as well. We got them. Okay, let's split them into respective categories. Okay, so we have 3 types. We have the type 21, type 20, and type 401. Type 401 has a really high torpedo attack, low sub visibility, that's not bad, and about 28,000 max range, so that's a long range sub. What about you? Again, long range sub, much higher sub visibility, torpedo attack, not that great. Hey, token political promises, yes, give me that. Give me that. Anything that can increase stability needs to be done immediately. Yep, do that. And we'll really take a chill pill at this point. So wait, if I compare you to this one, torpedo attack is much higher, 122, 52. So wait, this is a... Yeah, this is type 2, so 43,000. Surface detection, yeah, visibility is about half, and torpedo attack is much higher. So these are the primary and best subs that we have. No, kind of, yeah, and these ones are a bit aged. Okay, so we get the Northern Foothold. Removing all German politicians and commanders from Norway was necessary to warm Oslo to the idea of cooperation, but it was not in our best interest. We are still, after all, not an international charity. All our future ambitions in the north still require some sort of, however small, foothold in Norwegian affairs. Our mission will be small and effective. A few packed observers will be assigned to the ministry to monitor government goings-on, and a few German officers to drill the troops and coordinate joint exercises with packed forces, as well as legal provisions for future German reinforcements and garrisons. You know, just in case. So, military access has been granted. We basically got nothing. Yeah, I don't think we got anything from that. So that's fine. Now we can do the with international contacts. Actually, I didn't say that it increased our GDP slightly. I'm not sure. Okay, but we're starting to slow down the GDP drop, which might do something with the poverty. So we'll see how that's gonna go. Actually, what's the trend for us now? Society development. Okay, this is looking good. Academic base is increasing at nearly 1. Research facilities are increasing at 1.3. Agricultural methods at 0.6. Healthcare quality at 0.2. Administrative efficiency by 1.55. 0.42 for industrial expertise. Industrial equipment by 1. and 3.05 military professionalism. Jesus, that is really good. We're gonna move quicker from professional army to esprit de corps. That would be amazing. So basically everything is improving. Okay, and here we have the poverty. So poverty rate is 60.24, and poverty rate is still increasing by 0.18 though. Oh, I wish I have checked it before. Oh, negative real GDP growth is killing it. If we had a positive one, the poverty rate would finally start dropping, which would be probably for the first time. So we'll see. We need to, but we're slowing it down quite dramatically. Okay, we got another Zerstörer. Okay, I think we have a big amount of commanders, don't we? So if we split you into 3... Yeah, we got a ton of naval commanders. Spotter and submarine attack. Okay, who's commanding you? Admiral Top, Spotter, and Seawolf. Okay. So this is fine. And you need someone else like that. Submarine attack. Okay, you. So we'll have 3 fleets. Let me just change the symbols. Right here. Okay. So this is gonna be U-Boot Flotte 1. This is gonna be U-Boot Flotte 2 and U-Boot Flotte 3. And we have 1 hold. Kustengruppe. Huh. Well, let's call this Hochseeflotte. Though it's really not a high sea speed, we'll have to split them into some more probably high. Repair now. We have to figure out how we're gonna split them. Most of these ships are really just for patrol, so they aren't going to go anywhere. The Andean Pact. History was made today in South America, as Chile and Peru's respective presidents have came together to announce an unprecedented alliance between the two nations, the establishment of a community that will seek to promote peace, mutual well-being, and economic integration and development in the region. Officially called the Andean Pact, the announcement came as a surprise to many who consider the nations to be irredeemable rivals. Now, however, it would seem as though this precedent has led to a far warmer relations. Having sent our invitations to the surrounding nations to join this economic bloc, it seems as though Chile and Peru have no intentions of stopping their bloc from advancing to become a power player in the region. So Chile and Peru. Interesting. Rural collapse. Economic subservience and the social question. A diverse country with diverse problems. The silent liberation, the false dream. Great modifiers, guys. Really makes it good. Okay, we're gonna have to hold a speech. But again, that's pushing us above 40, which is good. Because with the vast political promises going away, we'll still be at 40, which eventually is going to allow us to go with the Ausbildung initiative and then revitalizing science. City Dweller. And then we can go with either the gentle approach or no exceptions. No exceptions are great, but they need 75% regime stability. And the Reichmark next. City Dweller. Kurt Friedrich loved his country. He loved his city even more. He loved Germania's street and houses, and the people that lived in them. He loved speaking to people. of all different types. Members of the SS, Heer soldiers, student protesters. He knew people from all walks of life. Kurt loved his country, and he hated that he was unable to serve in the military. His childhood passion of people-watching soon evolved into something more intimate. Rather than just watching people, he'd speak to them. He'd get to know them. He honed his conversational skills to a fine tool. A tool he was able to use to get anyone to tell him anything without them even knowing. It shouldn't have been any surprise that he supported Speer in the conflict. Rather than fight, he managed intelligence. He moved the secrets of Bormann and Göring to those fighting for Speer. When the conflict was ended and Speer established himself as Führer, Kurt returned to his home, his contribution to the Reich never known. But he kept people watching. He kept speaking to people. He kept roaming the dark underbelly of Germania. There was no enemy that he was fighting, no war being fought, but he continued his hunt for secrets. His hunt for purpose had not yet ended. He kept tabs on people he thought he should. He made a mental note of anything he could possibly use in the future. If he couldn't continue serving his country, he might as well serve his city. It was an ordinary day that his life changed. Kurt headed to one of the locations he most frequented, a coffee shop. He placed his order, a simple black coffee of course, and sat down in a booth. He had barely time to pull out the day's newspaper when a thin man in a nice suit sat down across from him. "Hello, Kurt. We've been watching you and we'd like to talk. Have you heard of the Reichsnachrichtendienst? What? Reichsnachrichtendienst. Nachrichten. I think those are news. So like the agency of... Oh, that would be probably the secret agency. What's our secret agency called? Abwehr. Okay, so it's not it. But it could be some kind of counterintelligence or something like that. Speaking of that, we haven't really finished this, so let's continue with upgrading Abwehr. And we got with international contacts. Norway's independence and ideological distance from Reich seems like just another obstacle to circumvent, when in reality they could very well prove to be a brand new opportunities for our regime to exploit. Seen internationally as an independent player to interact with and very soon to woo over on one's respective side, on the world stage, Oslo can become a valuable diplomatic middleman with the outside world, giving us far greater access to establish contacts with both our rivals and our future prospects through their own channels, and our free-willed and much more international amicable ally in the north, as they will be vouching for our interests, announcing them as theirs. So we lower the tensions with Americana and Japanese, and now we have two things. So we can go with Krone and Reichsmark and strengthen our prestige. Let's strengthen our prestige. That's gonna force them into the sulfur iron first, and then I'm gonna go with the next one. So how far are we with the Italo-German Great Game? Still 14 days. Anti-Hittic Cabal, sulfur iron. Investing, improving. Okay, but it's great that you can see the poverty here. Oh hey! The negative real GDP growth lowered, and so did the poverty rate change. Okay, so I'm happy. The base rate is minus 0.1, so I think that's from the events. Penal system, minimum wage, healthcare policy, trade unions. Not much that we can do with that. Okay, and we finished the edge detection, which is amazing. Okay, anything on support? Nope. 1970 infantry tech. We're approaching the 1966 infantry anti-air. Generation 1, 1965. Improved assault weapons. Okay, those are actually kind of important, but I'm going to check for other things. Military engineering, naval. This is advanced light battery. These are just piercing shots. That's flat. Bonuses. Helicopters. Nope. Light aircraft, heavy aircraft. Yeah, we need the improved jet interceptor, and that's one thing that I had on my list for a long while as well. But now we can finally go and design the new Zerstörer. So before that, we had the Zerstörer 1955, and we are going to now design a Zerstörer 1965 if we'll have enough naval experience. So you have the regular white battery. Okay, we need to give you a better gun here. You also need a better anti-air, and we got a better fire control system, which have one of those survive it. Okay, I don't like that. We're already at 9. Get a radar 2. So remember, this is not an anti-sub thing. We can give you a new white engine. Actually, you have the regular one. This would increase the fuel usage, but make you much faster. Okay, yeah, we're already at 15. We won't have enough. We'll have to wait a bit. Okay, torpedoes. Again, you need a better torpedo launcher. Let's check how much we will need. I'll give you another white battery. Let's give you 3 white batteries. And then another torpedo launcher. And one more anti-air. So this would need 38. Compared to the original Zerstörer, you will have higher surface detection, even higher sub-detection when, even if that is not your goal. Surface visibility is the same. Light attack is increased by 0.2. Light piercing is the same. Torpedo attack is more than doubled, which is good. Anti-air is more than doubled. You have little depth charges, but it's fine. Speed is increased. Range is increased. Reliability is increased slightly. And fuel usage is increased. Okay, so what we need here is 14 more XP. Okay, cool. That is fine. Fine by me. I like that. So we can do that. GDP per capita, yes, we know it's dropping. That's unfortunate. How much XP are we getting daily? 0.6 nearly. So that's good. Command power is nearly at the maximum. So let's do a revision of our commanders. Yes, we can get. So you're commanding the infantry. So let's give you recovery and defensive doctrine, because that's gonna be your goal. You are done. So that's good. What about you? More? Nope. Okay. This must be the first time when we're actually having excess of command power. What about you? Nothing. Definitely nothing here because we were using you, and same with you. So what about our motorized battalions? Nope. The tank divisions? Nothing either. What about here? Nothing either, so we can move to the Navy. Strengthen our prestige. To say that our reputation in Norway is not stellar would be an understatement. No matter how cooperative the government is to our advances, the average Norwegian would rather die, and most likely will, than allow Germania to meddle in their affairs again, occupiers or otherwise. The situation is precarious enough to endanger the current Norwegian administration itself, and our interest lying within it by proxy, both with our own hearts and minds offensive and in coordination with the government, its own propaganda programs. We must do everything we can to remedy this post haste. So, but they are now in the sulfur iron. It gave us anything else? Opinion, just opinion increase. Okay, and Krone and Reichsmark, and we'll be done. Dealing with Ukraine. Okay, so this gives us a new option here in the state of the Reich. But I say we're gonna leave that to the next episode, as well as other things. So regime stability is 47.9. The sulfur iron, nothing there. Anti-Houthi cabal. And we still have 7 days here. Okay, cool. So, thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode. I'm gonna do one more before I head to bed. This is fun. And I like that we're starting to do something with the Navy too. We'll have to probably mothball all of these and then put them back into service as we'll upgrade them, because I would like to have a bit more of a control over which ships have been modernized and which hasn't. But, you know, again, that's this next step of the naval reform. So, see you in the next episode.